Soyuz launches to the ISS, and Long March 7 to Tianzhou-1. Ni hao, I'm Lucas and welcome to kNews for week 16, 2017. Before I start with the rockets, I want to mention that George Diller retires from his job at NASA after 37 years as a Public Affairs Information Specialist. If his name doesn't sound familiar to you, no problem, but I think his voice will do.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus.
Now, what's up on the launch front? As you've just seen, Atlas V launched yesterday, but I already covered that one in a previous episode, which I will link you in the description. There are 2 more launches ahead, and the first one is a Russian Soyuz tomorrow at 7:13 UTC. It will launch from Baikonur in Kazakhstan and head to the ISS. Russia's workhorse has launched more than 1,000 times since the 1960s and received several upgrades. However, its look hasn't changed much, and I'm actually glad about that since it's one of the best looking rockets in my opinion. Filled with liquid kerosene and oxygen, Soyuz has 4 tapered boosters around a thinner core stage which have a total of 32 nozzles. On top is the upper stage and the Soyuz MS-04 payload, which will bring crew to the ISS. The spacecraft is covered by the launch escape system, which can separate the crew capsule should something go wrong. The large grid fins, similar to those on a Falcon 9 booster, are unfolded during such an event and help to keep the whole vehicle stable until the capsule itself decouples in a safe distance. As mentioned, the Soyuz will fly to the ISS, and for that the rocket will launch right when the launch site passes the ISS orbital plane. This is key to launch a spacecraft to the same orbit efficiently because it otherwise had to do a costly inclination change. If everything goes according to plan, the boosters will separate a few minutes into the flight and soon after that the core stage. From there the upper stage will deliver the majority of speed to achieve a stable orbit. Instead of 3, the crew only consists of 2 astronauts this time, which leaves 1 empty seat on the spacecraft. That's the reason why Peggy Whitson, currently commander of the ISS, will extend her mission by 3 additional months. Joining the ISS are for Russia, Fyodor Yurchikhin. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but it sounds funny. And Jack Fisher for the USA. Now, Fyodor is definitely not a chicken because he has already spent 537 days in space. His first mission was on the Space Shuttle in 2002, where he and others mounted the Starboard 1 segment to the ISS. That's one of the frames now holding the sonar panels, by the way. This flight now will lead to his 4th long-duration stay on the ISS, concluding in September of this year. Jack Fisher, on the other hand, is a Wookiee when it comes to space, since this will be his first spaceflight, but he is not a chicken either because he is a US test pilot, having flown 45 types of aircraft during his career in the US Air Force. Once Soyuz MS-04 gets released, it will as usual catch up with the station on a multitude of lower orbits. This process will as usual take approximately 2 days until the spacecraft will hopefully dock successfully to a docking port on the ISS. The second launch tomorrow is, as mentioned, Long March 7 for China. It is scheduled for 11:31 UTC and will take place at Wenchang on the Hainan Island in the south of China. Similar to Soyuz, Long March 7 has 2 core stages and 4 strap-on boosters, all burning kerosene and oxygen. Another similarity is the optional 3rd stage called Qianzheng Yihao, or in English, Expedition 1. However, I believe this one is only used for shooting satellites into a geosynchronous transfer orbit, while it will this time launch the unmanned Tianzhou-1 cargo ship to the Chinese space station Tiangong-2. Launching from Wenchang, the rocket will probably fly southeast, following Tiangong's orbit at an inclination of 42.8 degrees. However, it could also launch northeast when the launch site passes the other half of the orbit, but that would mean the rocket would fly towards highly populated areas of eastern China and Taiwan, which I personally doubt. Anyways, during ascent, Long March will first stage the boosters and then the first stage away, which will both splash down in the ocean. While the upper stage continues to push Tianzhou-1 to orbit, let me mention a few key elements of its mission. Probably the most important part is the fully autonomous docking maneuver. It will be performed several times to really get the hang of it. In the end, Tiangong-2 is only a testbed for China's future modular station, which they will start to build in the upcoming years. I think equally important to the docking will also be the fuel transfer. Yes, Tianzhou will refuel Tiangong so the station can keep correcting its orbit on its own. This is important because the future station will of course be bigger and require fueling much more often, so they really have to nail it. Similar to an ISS approach, Tianzhou will catch up with it on a lower orbit and hopefully dock successfully. Okay, that shall conclude this kNews episode, and I hope to see you in the next one if you like. Auf Wiedersehen and thank you for watching.